When in doubt, just reboot the universe. DC prepares for a new Dawn of the DC universe. So that's right, DC is hitting that reboot button again. Fourth time in the last 10 years that we're just getting a fresh new DC universe. And if you're a fan of this channel, you know I do not support reboots. I think they're a terrible idea. But in the case of the current DC universe, I think like any just ragged, injured, damaged, and gangrenous wound, it's time to amputate and just move forward. So yeah, this probably is the best move for the DC universe right now, is just scrap this dumpster fire that they have been living in and just give us something new, get back on track. It's the quick and easy way out, but you know what, at this point, whatever it takes, I guess. So let's look at this coming to us from popverse.com. Dawn of the DCU is going to be what spins out of the end of this final dark crisis on Infinite Crises, or whatever this new latest story is called. Issue number 7 comes out December 20th, and then going forward is going to be the new Dawn of the DC universe, which is the editorial new direction. So it says here, going back to the article, as we said, 2022 is going to be the end of this just rancid era of DC, we hope. Now, what is this going to need to succeed? So first of all, let's look at some of these promo images, and it looks like they've got one thing back on track, which is we've got Barry Allen back in the Flash suit. We got Hal Jordan back as Green Lantern. Princess Diana is sitting there as Wonder Woman. You've got Arthur Curry as Aquaman. And then, of course, Bruce Wayne Batman, Clark Kent Superman, and then you got the kind of original, not really original, but you got the Marv Wolfman, George Perez era Teen Titans are going to be taking back that title, and then you got Billy Batson stepping back into Shazam, which makes the most sense because right around that same time is the new Shazam movie, and DC, unlike the incompetent boobs over at Marvel, still know how to at least kind of capitalize when they got a movie sitting in theaters that's hopefully successful. And they're going to be able to give the fans of that movie something resembling what they just saw on screen. So these are all smart moves. You're getting rid of the legacy characters, you're putting the original characters people like back in their titles. And so there's step one in fixing your universe right there. And it's a big step. Your step two is you need to drain the swamp of your current creative staff, because currently the creative pool of DC Comics seems to care more about putting their politics in the books, generating success through just social media clicks and retweets, getting that endorphin hit from people agreeing with whatever it is you're saying online, and generally just being abusive dicks to your fans. So those all need to go. Anyone who is of that ilk, which I would say at this point is about 70% of your creatives right now at in the DC stable, they just need to be shown the door. There's no room for them, no more chances. I don't want to hear they're going to be doing things differently. We're going back to the Kelly Sue DeConnick. If you don't like your politics, don't buy my book. We didn't like their politics, we didn't buy their books. Your current sales already demonstrate that very, very well. So go out, either bring in some veteran talent. I hear Jeff Johns is going to have a more involved role in DC Comics again, which is probably going to be a good thing. Maybe even just go out and find some fresh blood, which is one of the things that baffles me the most, because as somebody who creates a comic myself, and I'm looking to kind of expand my label here, there are a bevy of just completely unsigned and remarkably talented artists and writers out there in the world who are dying for a big break. And these yahoos at the big two studios are sitting in jobs that they're doing exceedingly poorly at, and there is lines of far more talented people ready to replace them at the drop of the hat. I just don't understand it. I really don't. It really baffles me that this is such a hard concept to get behind. Of find somebody who knows how to write a story. Find somebody who knows how to illustrate a dynamic, awesome, and compelling looking book. They are out there. They're out there in droves. If you're watching this video and you're one of these people, I would love you to comment on. Just tell us your story. That you're somebody who's out there struggling and would love to be the new writer on Wonder Woman, or love to be the new artist on the Teen Titans, and get some of these other people who are just not good at their jobs, or these people that are just out there to be antagonists, and get them the hell out. So that's step two to being successful. Another step is get rid of this omniverse idea. The whole, if anything can happen, it does happen, and nothing really matters. Justice League can die in their own comic, but they're all fine in their own solo titles, and nothing really ties into itself. No. all gone. Whoever dreamt it up, gone. It's an awful idea. I mean, comic books thrive on lore and their history and their continuity. So the Omniverse gets rid of all of those things. And it's really a shame because, I mean, people who, when they get into the comic book space, it needs to be accessible. That's why superhero comics tend to be episodic, where it's like the hero fights a villain, the villain has a dastardly plan, they overcome it, and then kind of by the end of the story, it's just back to the status quo and moving on. They do that for a reason. They do that so that somebody who picks up an issue of Superman and starts reading it is going to be able to follow the story. They may have to get the issue preceding it if they're coming into the middle of a story arc or something, but that's fine. But, you don't need to go so lore driven that if I am reading the latest issue of something and if I haven't been reading for the last 100 issues, I have no clue what's going on. But I don't usually find that as a problem when I pick up a new comic book. Sometimes there is, but you always have those little editor's notes that says, gives you a little brief hint of what's going on, and even issue numbers if you want to go back to the old books and read more about it, which is also, once you get into the hobby, that's kind of the fun, is tracking down the trades and the back issues of all this history. And that's what the comic book industry used to be all about. And that's a business model that they've kind of wanted to get away from lately, and I don't understand why. But anyway, just to sweeten the pot a little bit, there will be additional variant covers, again, going back to the article. The Jam tribute covered that we saw from George Perez, which just had a lot of artists coming in, drawing pretty much all the characters that George Perez had his fingerprints on. It was a really cool image. You're going to make that a variant cover. I think that's kind of neat. It's going to represent the impact that George Perez had on the DC universe, which was very significant just because he was a legend. So there you go. Dawn of the DCU. Old DC is going out the gate. Now, the one thing I don't know is I don't know if this is going to be a kind of a soft reboot where like the story's going to end and everyone's going to come back, but the old DCU has happened, or if this is going to be what I kind of hope it is, which is at this point a hard reboot. Let's just get everybody back to a beginning point and move forward from there. So it already mentions that the Infinite Earths are going to be back. I'm not really wild about that because I thought probably one of DC's best moves they did in the history of their company was the original Crisis on Infinite Earths, where they blew up the concept of the multiverse and they went to one definitive Earth with one definitive history. It made their universe a lot more coherent and a lot more connected, and it felt a lot more lived in. So, we'll see what they do with that. I know Jeff John's a big fan of the multiverse, so if he really is coming back and going to have more to do with it, then that's probably a little bit of his influence on that would be my guess. I'm not positive. But, yeah, let's talk about this going forward. What do you think? Are you willing at this point, if DC is soft reboot or hard reboot, are you willing to give them another chance, or have they just kind of run out? Have they run out the clock and you just don't care anymore? Like I said, this is going to be their fourth reboot in 10 years. That's a lot to ask your fans to endure, because reboots, while they generate this short-term success of big sales because you get this buzz of people wanting to check out, see what the new stuff is like, it tends to fade within 3 to 6 months, and you're back to whatever you had. And after those first few months, after that honeymoon period is over, then it's on the shoulders of the studio to actually deliver, to show that they're going to be able to put forth a quality product going forward and keep those fans in place. So, and we've seen that now so many times, and they haven't been able to maintain that focus, whether it's because they just peter out, or like in the instance of the current state of the DCU, they brought in just a bunch of writers who probably have no business writing comic books, or people who just, they've got an agenda, they've got a point of view, and that's front and center, and storyline and character and lore and everything that comics should be about have been pushed way into the back seat. So that's what happened now, and I right now I don't see any indication as to why that wouldn't happen again, unless they're really gonna have some heads roll at DC Studios. But it's run by David Zaslav. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. But yeah, let's talk about the comments below. I really want to know if you're going to give this a chance, or you're going to pass it by. And either way, if you're going to pick it up or you're going to pass it by, I want to know why. I'm going to pick it up because I love DC and I would love to see them come back to their former glory. That's kind of where I am. Or is it, no, I'm not going to pick it up. One reboot too much. I really just don't have any interest anymore. They've killed it for me. So let's talk about the comments below. While you're down there, do all the usual YouTube stuff. Hit like, subscribe to the channel. Comment always helps the algorithm kind of pick us up a little bit more, it seems. So, and I really want to talk to you guys about this. I want to know what you guys think. So be sure to comment, and we'll talk about this in the comment section after the video is posted. And I'm going to leave it right there. Dawn of the DCU reboot is coming. Maybe that dumpster fire is finally going to get extinguished. We will find out. But I will talk to you on the next video. Bye.